Hey guys, it's me, Trevis, the CEO and founder of PlayerProps.ai. Here's what we're locking in for week 5 of Survivor pools. Now, if you are in the Circa Survivor, which is the largest Survivor pool in the world, if you're still alive, congratulations. You are now one of 480 people. If you're doing your own Survivor pool, some work colleagues, your friends, or whatever, and you're still alive, congrats. This has been the craziest Survivor season in the history of Survivor pools. A lot of people got knocked out. For this one in particular, there was over 14,000 entries, and everybody's like, "Man, there's gonna be a lot of entries left at the end. There's gonna be a massive tie, and they all have to split the pot." Well, as you can see, that's not the case. We started with 14,000, and just 4 weeks later, there's only 480. Now, that being said, uh, I currently in week 3 got the boot from going with the Browns, forgetting or not realizing that Deshaun Watson's the worst quarterback in the history of the NFL. And then this week, for week 4, I more than likely would have went with the Jets, which then would have knocked me out anyway. So even though Deshaun Watson is the worst quarterback in the history of the NFL, Aaron Rodgers and his garbage offense would have knocked me out anyway. So if you played the Jets, you are out. Cardinals only had 5.6%, but still, it's, I guess anything over 5 is a pretty good chunk. So only 2 kind of real big upsets. Everything else is just kind of minor. This is, I think, the first week that nobody forgot to put in an entry. I guess when everybody realized how few entries there are left, like, hey, maybe I should start putting in a pick every week. So nobody forgot to put one in. That's why you see no pick at 0. The implied value for every single entry is at 29,000. So in theory, if you wanted to buy someone's entry, you can see how many teams they've picked, what teams are available. You can offer them $30,000, and that would be what their entry is worth based on the total prize pool, which is 14.2 million, 14.4 million, 14.8 million. I don't know. It's over 14 million, and that would be what the value is based on how many entries are left. So hey, find somebody, offer them 30K, take their entry. I'm pretty sure that Circa allows that. I have to actually look into that. But we're going to go here in a little bit and show you who we're targeting this week. We'll go through a few picks because I know that if you're watching this, chances are everybody watching this hasn't made the exact same picks. So you don't have the exact same teams available. But we will pull up the Survivor Atlas map and show you what we're looking at. So here, I mentioned every single episode we've done so far. So this is the Circa Million contest. This is not a Survivor contest. This contest is... you pick 5 spreads every single week. So they say, here's the spreads, the lines are locked in, choose 5 sides, and then the best one, of course, will win over $1 million at the end of the season. But another cool thing they do, which you see here, is they give quarterly prizes. So there are 4 people who tied for the best record through 4 weeks. They're 16-4, which is insane. They each got $66,250. So even if they don't forget to pick the rest of the season, or maybe if they lose all their picks the rest of the season, they're already getting a check right now for $66,250, which is nuts. And then you see if you tied for the next best, which was 15-4-1, you got $1,600. At the bottom, they also award a last place prize. You see there at the bottom. So this entry that looks like rain 2 had the worst record. Nobody even tied with them. They had the worst record. They picked everything every single week. They only won twice. They lost 17, and they had a push for their last one. They got 25K. They were so booty cheeks that they were the absolute worst selection, and they got 25K. Last season, I actually was trying to get that, and I was like 1 win away from getting 25K on the worst one. So where do we stand right now? Let's see. Last week, our 5 picks, I think we had a push because we had KC -7 and they won by 7. I want to say last week was 3-2-1. No, that's impossible. It had to be 2-2-1. So right there in the middle, not good, not bad. So we're still kind of hovering. We just need to start having more 4-1 weeks. We need to start having 5-0 weeks, and there's still plenty of time left in the season. So this first quarter winners, the records don't reset, but the quarter tracking does. And this is what I mean by that. So the second quarter, week 5, week 6, week 7, week 8, etc. If I want to win part of this. I think it's actually 100,000. I think 100,000 is the first quarter or the quarterly winners, but because there was a tie, that's why there was a breakdown, a profit share, if you will. So if I go on week 5, which is this week, if I go 5-0, and then week 6, and then every week that's part of the second quarter, if I crush it and I have the best record, then I get 100K. So even if my first quarter was mediocre, not the worst, not the best, I can still win 6 figures or more by crushing the individual quarters. Or I can still win 25K by being hot booty cheeks. So yeah, this is a very interesting contest. This is something you can't get eliminated from. You just have to keep picking. The only way to qualify for these is you have to have a pick. You have to have all 5 picks. You can't like skip one and be like, oh, hey, I only won one. Give me 25K. You have to actually pick them. And then to qualify for the $1 million prizes and the massive prize at the end of the year, you can't miss a single pick on a single week. You have to make sure you do 5 every single week of the season. So now that we got through that, let's pull up our Survivor Atlas map here. Let me readjust to make it fit the screen. Boom. So again, I'm going to go over a handful of things, what we're looking at for the Survivor contest, for those still in it. I'm going to probably try to see if I can get 3 or 4 teams that I really like, and then you guys can choose from whatever is available to you. So we see the gray line through Seattle here, because when I was going through these things, I chose that my team was Seattle. So let me uncheck. Okay. So I unchecked all of those, so there's no more gray lines. Now we're going to say hide the old round, so it starts here at week 5. Now we're going to see for anything we like. So San Francisco. This is a team that, of course, is always, for the last few years, projected to go to the Super Bowl. So it's a team that's projected to win a lot of their games this season, have got a lot of good spreads. This week they have the best spread when they're versing Arizona at home, but they also have Seattle at home week 11, 6-point favorite, 9-point favorite Chicago week 14, almost 10-point favorite Rams, Dolphins as well. So the only games that they're not at the second favored in is Green Bay in Green Bay week 12 and Buffalo at Buffalo. They're like 1-point underdogs. So this is somebody that you can use at any point, essentially. But if you see here, I believe I don't have the Christmas tree on the screen, but you see here this turkey icon. This, because for this particular contest you have to have a pick for Thanksgiving or Black Friday on top of having a pick for the weeks as well. San Francisco doesn't play on Christmas. San Francisco doesn't play on the Thanksgiving slate. So you don't have to save them for that. If you're at this point, normally what the strategy is saving the best teams so you have easier wins down the road. But because it's been such a bloodbath, it's been the craziest Survivor season in NFL history. I mean, at this point, you just need to stay alive. That's what you need to do. So San Francisco is in play. You don't have to play them. You can use them later, but they are in play. Seattle versus the New York Giants. Seattle is doing pretty good, even though they kind of got beat up a little bit by, who was it, Detroit. They still have a pretty good offense. Kenneth Walker came back from injury, looked pretty healthy with this multi-touchdown game. If we're looking down the slate, the only real thing that they are going to be... This is actually... They're not going to be more favored than they are against the Giants this week. So they're 6-point favorites. The next closest is Rams at home, week 9 at minus 5.5. So this is the best bet for them this week if you haven't picked them yet. Kansas City, if you are in the Circa, you do want to save them for Turkey slate or Christmas slate. They have a massive 11.5 line against Las Vegas here, so I would be saving them for that. Moving one more down, Chicago. I mean, I don't know if you guys have been watching any NFL this year about the good old Chicago Bears, but now that Andy Dalton's been playing, I trust Andy Dalton way more than I trust Caleb Williams. So I probably might even look at Carolina plus 3.5 for my spread contest. So that's not in play. So San Francisco, Seattle. If you're not in the Circa Survivor and you haven't picked Kansas City, they are in play. But if you are in this exact contest that makes you have additional picks for the Thanksgiving slate and the Christmas slate, You need to save them. You need to save them. You can't use them yet. You just have to, because there's only like two favorites on the Thanksgiving slate. Two, I guess three, including Dallas. Three solid favorites, and Green Bay and Dallas are the other ones. But I still think you should save Kansas City. They're also versus New Orleans, and Derek Carr has been heating up on the passing game. So even though they're a 5-point favorite, they also lost their best receiver, I believe, to the season. I don't know if that news has been out yet. Travis Kelce's getting more targets because of it, which is great, but Kansas City's offense is in shambles. They lost their running back. They lost their receiver. It's not looking good. So I don't even like Kansas City this week until they figure out the receiver situation. I don't like Chicago in general because the first game of the season, I know Caleb is getting better, but I think they had 2.7 yards on average, so they are not in play until they show me something. But they're versing. So Chicago, if you wanted to play them in general, they are versing the Patriots in Week 10 as 5-point favorites. So that gives Caleb Williams 4 more games to heat up, to get more comfortable in the pocket, get better in general, and then you may consider him in Week 10, but not yet. He's not in play. Baltimore is another team they do play on Christmas. They're only 1-point favorites on Houston, but if you actually look at the entire Christmas slate, there's no team on Christmas slate, which is Christmas Eve and Christmas, I believe, for this particular contest, that's greater than a 1.5 favorite. So, I mean, this could be a toss-up. If you have at least one team available there, there's a chance they can win because it's a really close games across the board. But if you think Baltimore's going to beat Houston in Houston, and that's your mindset for your lock, Derrick Henry's heating up, Lamar Jackson's a little bit better this season, you can look at this. Baltimore saving them. But you don't have to. If you want to make them versus Cincinnati, a division game where Cincinnati has been abysmal this season, yeah, you can. I guess you can say they're in play, but they have better games, better favorites. They're 8-point favorites, 10-point favorites, 7 against Philly, 7.5 against New York Giants Week 15, 9 against the Browns in Week 18. You can save them for the last pick of the season if you want to, if you make it that far. There's more opportunities than this 3-point favorite. Green Bay against the Rams. Green Bay did pretty well last week now that Jordan Love is back. Washington, Jalen is heating up. He's getting really good. I expect him to be favored in more games as his comfortability increases. He is versing the Browns. Browns are, of course, hot trash for the worst quarterback in the history of the NFL. So I do think they win, but I think you can save him for other games. I mean, he's got Carolina Week 7, Chicago Week 8. And I think Week 8 is going to be nice because it's the rookie quarterbacks versing each other, so that's going to be a fun game to watch too. So what do we have here? We have San Francisco. You don't need to save them for the special holiday stuff. They're not playing. Seattle, if you haven't played them yet. This is the highest they're going to be favored the rest of the season unless something happens. Kansas City's in play. They have better games you can choose them for, and they also play on both holiday slates. So if you are in this particular contest where you have to play additional picks for holiday, keep them in your back pocket. Chicago, no. I do not trust Caleb Williams yet. Baltimore, in play, but there's a lot more games this year where they're going to be better picks. Green Bay over Rams. The Rams are still ailing at receiver. They may get Cooper Kupp back this week, so you may want to pay attention to that. But without Cooper, without Puka, they're not that good. So pay attention to injuries before you lock that in. If you don't hear anything on Cooper Kupp, if he's yay or nay, don't touch it because you don't want to pick it and then the next day after lock they're like, oh hey, Cooper's back. You're like, ah, crap. Washington, even though it's only -3, you can play them as well. So Green Bay is depending on news. Washington, I think, will beat Cleveland, but they're not a super sexy pick as much as San Francisco, Seattle is. So the total teams that aren't crazy picks is San Francisco, Seattle, Kansas City, Baltimore, Washington, Green Bay, depending on news. If you're playing in this contest, you need to pocket Kansas City, and it's probably better to pocket Baltimore because there's going to be a lot of entries. Even though there's only 480 left for this contest, there will be a handful of entries left in Week 18, and you want to have Baltimore over Cleveland in Week 18 for your final pick. So if you're in this contest, pocket Kansas City, pocket Baltimore, which just leaves you with San Francisco over Arizona, Seattle over New York Giants, Washington over Cleveland, and then Green Bay over Rams, depending on if Cooper Kupp is back or not. If Cooper Kupp is back, I would not go with that. You could look at Green Bay next week when they verse Arizona as 7.5-point favorites, or when they verse Miami on the Thanksgiving slate, where they're 11-point favorites on the Turkey Day. So that's what we're locking in. That's what we're looking at here. Spread-wise, I can't really give you guys spreads for the contest here because it's only Wednesday, and lock for this isn't until Saturday afternoon. So what I essentially do is I just wait for news, look at the tools that I have, the tools I created for you. Oh, so by the way, if you've been watching these videos and you made it this far in this video, first off, thank you. I have new tools that actually help you with this contest and help you with the Survivor one. So we've added, we launched with just player prop tools, right? But we've added a money line predictor, which is huge for Survivor contest to see what if there's an AI favoring a certain team over another team. Just look at the money line predictor. I'll put it up on screen here in a second. So we have that. We have a spread predictor as well, which I've been using. Well, we just launched it on Wednesday, so I'm working on using it for these kind of contests you see on the screen. But let me pull that up here real quick. Now that I talk about it, let me pull up the new tools we have. So this, for example, is our money line predictor. So I'll go to tomorrow. I'll go to Thursday Night Football here. So of course, if you choose Sunday, you're going to see all the Sunday games. So we show you on the left here the implied chance. This is taking the odds and just calculating this is what the odds mean. So every time on any bet in the history of the world where you see minus 125, that always means that bet has a 55.56 implied chance to hit. This is also so what we do is we show you the actual bet available on the sports books, which is Atlanta money line minus 125. Then our projection here is Atlanta winning a 59% chance to win. So the sports books say with their minus 125 line that they have a 55.56 chance to win, but our AI is saying they're actually projected to have a higher percentage chance to win, which is why you see a green 3.44% difference. So essentially our AI is saying they're actually going to be, the money line should be more favored. So it should be something like minus 150 instead of minus 125. So this is something where I look at this like, oh, hey, maybe I'll bet on Atlanta Falcons money line, for example. So that's a quick gist of that. If you want more information, just click the button up here that says learn how to use this tool. So let's go to the other one for the spreads that I want to show you guys. So let's go to Thursday Night Football. So what we do here is we take the odds that are on the actual sports book, and you know what sports book we're highlighting the odds of because we have it right here on the right side. So this is DraftKings. So DraftKings says, based on the odds provided, Atlanta has a 52.38% chance of covering a minus 1.5 spread. But our AI says the chances of them winning by 2 points or more is actually slightly higher at a 55.47% chance. So these are just tools that you can use for Survivor contest. If you're just doing it for the Circa Million, you can use the spread predictor for that. Or if you're just wanting to use it for betting in general, these tools just got added in version 2.0 that dropped last Wednesday. So these are brand new. So yeah, let me know what you're locking in the comments. Let me know what you think about these new tools after you have a chance to play around with them. And we'll see you guys in the Discord. Good luck, everyone.